Welcome to the Oyster Aero PearlCast, where we sit down with founders and leaders shaping the aviation industry, from freshly formed startups to the biggest names in the sky. This episode is brought to you by our friends at Turbo Resources in Phoenix, Arizona, now operating in 450,000 square feet of state-of-the-art warehouse space. Turbo continues to keep the aviation industry flying and is actively buying material. Now, we hope you enjoy this episode.
Hello everyone, Jeff Yergy with the Oyster Aero PearlCast. I am here with Chris Key. You've not heard of him, but we're going to by the end of this podcast. How's it going, Chris?
Very well, thanks. Hi everyone. I'm excited to be here with Jeff today.
Yeah, so and you're in the UK, right?
Correct. Yeah, we're in the southwest near Cornwall, in a place called Exeter, which is very nice. Very hot at the moment, but yeah, very nice.
I'm sure. Yeah, and you don't have the AC that we pump in Memphis, I wouldn't think so.
We've only got heaters here, unfortunately. Yeah, we're not used to hot weather, so we're suffering a bit, but never mind.
All right. So I actually was excited to get this out when I saw your product, and this is more of a discovery. So if you're watching this, we really want to hear from you to see if you think this product is interesting in our world. So as I said, Chris is with Hostcomm, and you do a bunch of different services, but one that we were talking about is remote digital inspection, and there's a better word for that. So I'll let you take it because you're the expert. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what the product is and maybe kind of what the inspiration for it is?
Yeah, okay, yeah. So yeah, I'm mainly looking to talk about remote visual assistance. Hostcomm has been around for almost 20 years. Our background is cloud contact centers. And a few years ago, one of our customers, one of the largest installers of heating systems in the UK, came to us and they had a problem. We had obviously COVID-19, and they were looking to access their customers without necessarily going to site. So we did a bit of research and came up with remote visual assistance, which was fairly new 5 years ago, and decided to create our own application, which actually they've been using since then, so about 4 or 5 years. And so remote visual assistance allows an expert technician or engineer to help somebody remotely using video and AR type guidance tools without actually going to site. So they can resolve all sorts of complicated problems and assist people remotely without traveling anywhere, which is the main benefit, really.
Yeah. I remember when I first heard of it, I thought, well, why not just take pictures like we do in aviation? So when we have packages or if we have a high value component, if it's valuable enough, people get on a plane and they go and they go in the warehouse and they physically look, and I'm not sure that we'll see. But then there's also the ones that are kind of on the fence, a couple $1 million package. What'll happen is people will say, well, take the crate out and unbox everything and take some pictures of it, and if you see the data plate, take a picture of that and then send it to me, right? And I guess the next iteration could be a FaceTime, some sort of call, FaceTime back and forth with each other, but you're in warehouses with concrete and that kind of thing. So when I saw this product, I really am curious. This is not one of our usual podcasts. We want to hear from people. So Chris, why don't you just show us around a little bit and see if this is useful to the aerospace community?
Absolutely. You see my screen now, Jeff?
Yep.
Wonderful. It as you say, Jeff, the best thing to do with remote visual assistance is just show it, because it's a pleasure to demo. Actually, it's very visual. So as you say, we're looking to help someone out, perhaps in a warehouse or something. They've got something fairly complex that is going to be tricky to discuss without confusion. So remote visual assistance is perfect for that. So you would put in your cell phone number, mobile number goes up here, put your email in, and then give it a reference so it can be searched on later, and then hit the button. So that, in this case, sends out an SMS text to the remote end, which has just come through.
So in this case,
you're sending an invite.
You're sending an invite to a warehouse shipper or, basically somebody that would be on the other end, right?
That's correct. Yeah. And yeah, so apologies, we haven't got a jet turbine here, Jeff, or anything relevant to you, but I think this is a battery charger, so it's semi-technical. But yeah, you're correct. The SMS comes through. We can email it as well, and then when the SMS arrives, it's got a hyperlink on it. So all the remote person has to do is just click the hyperlink. They don't need to install an app. They don't need an app at all. They just click the hyperlink in the SMS message, and it'll just. And then I think there's one more button which says, joins the call, and then here we are. They're ready to go. So it's very easy for the remote person to do it.
So you're holding your phone in your left hand and acting as the remote technician at this point, and you're the expert kind of on the other end of the phone. So you're in the UK and that phone can be in Seattle right now.
Exactly. Yeah. Anywhere in the world, actually. Yeah. In fact, just very briefly, one of the advantages of this technology is wherever you are in the world, it directly connects browser to browser. So even if even if HQ is in Australia or something like that, but the two people that want to use it are in the US, it connects directly, so it doesn't go via Australia, and that's maybe a topic for another discussion. But it uses WebRTC, so the code's already in the browsers.
And then one of the benefits before we start is if you're in a low bandwidth area like a warehouse with concrete, this is figured out how to connect through that as well.
Yeah, exactly. It automatically adapts itself to low bandwidth situations, and without and also low light as well. It's it's good on low light. You can turn the torch on from the remote end and control some of the features on the smartphone.
Okay, take it away.
Okay, so well, I think if we just start with pointer, that's a really good one. So hopefully you can see this kind of yellowy green circle moving around. And this appears on the remote end. So if I want to say that button up there, that's the one you need to press and hold that button there. Okay, so we've got 4 buttons here. It could be a little bit, I know it's red, but if we pick one of the other ones, you would have to say, oh, it's the one at the top on the left. And, the option there, the possibility for confusion comes in, but I can just say that one there, click that one. And you can see, there's no doubt it's that one I want to press. And at the remote end, the other person at the remote can also do the pointer. So, do you mean that one there at the top? Yes, I do. So we've got two-way live pointer. We can also image capture, and we can then annotate. So that's the button there I want you to press for me. And there it is, that one there. We can also.
So you're typing as the operator, and now the person is seeing this on their screen as well.
Exactly, that's right. Yeah. So I can then annotate back. I think it comes through blue actually. So just to designate that that's actually coming from the remote end there. So you can have a two-way annotation session, a bit like a whiteboard, but you've got the subject matter there as well. So it's like a transparently overlaid onto the subject that you want to talk about. So we can save that, and it's then displayed in the image gallery. So let's come out of there.
And we're also recording this, right? So like everything that we're doing in the counter at the top, I can go back and rewatch this, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it records. Okay. Yeah, it also there's also a voice over IP session as well between the two browsers, so you don't actually need a separate telephone call as well. You can actually do it browser to browser.
Yep.
So everything you need. There's if you decided you want to chat as well, you can have a chat session, which might be might be useful if the person can't hear you. Maybe it's a bit noisy. There's a lot of background noise, or perhaps English isn't their first language, or there's a communication issue of some sort. You can revert to chat. Another good feature actually is we can connect to Google Maps, and so we can get the geolocation from the smartphone. They have to give permission, and we can do all sorts of things. We can look at the property, for example. So if we wanted to zoom in at the properties, that's the one, that's where the phone's located. We can say, oh look, yeah, there's probably enough parking for me to get in there, park the lorry, the truck. That's good. We've got plenty of access. And if we're installing a heating system, we've got an idea of the property. Yep. We can also measure distances as well. So let's say we want to go from the front door to the road to access utilities. We've got nearly 15 meters there, and we can save these images as well. Other things like checklists. So if the expert's working to some sort of a routine, we integrate with Typeform, which is a very, very good application. Lots of people will have heard of that, and we can work through a routine here, and just so that the person doesn't forget things, we can get them to work through this.
And then the OCCR. Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so we've got so everything's captured, as you can see here. Yeah, OCR. Let's just do that quickly.
OCR, sorry.
Yeah, OCR stands for optical character recognition, for anyone that hasn't heard of that. So it basically grabs the text. You can then edit that. So let's just say we just want the model number in this case. We just want to know what it is. It's a Clark battery charger. And yeah, we can save that. So quite a few things going on there. But so we saw annotation, pointer, Google Maps integration. We can take notes and OCR.
And then when the call ends, you've had a record of the recording, you have a record of the chat, you have a record of the mapping, you have a record of the OCR capture, which would be data plates.
Exactly.
This is
yeah,
cool.
It puts it all into a folder, and we can actually use AI to search things within the images and text. So if you're looking for, let's say for example, in 6 months you want to access information about a Clark battery charger. There was another problem relating to that product. You could just search for that and it will bring up this session, which you can then look through. So that's one of the advantages of remote visual assistance is it puts all of your media files into a folder on a central console.
Interesting, Chris. Well, we try to keep these to 15 minutes. I think we could probably talk for 2 hours about this.
Easily.
But I am curious, and again, if you're watching this, I'm so curious if their aerospace application is relevant. I think it would be, especially for those packages that are on the fence. A certain dollar amount, you're getting on the plane and going, and of course you want to see your customers and who you're buying. Like, we're relationship driven as well. But if you already know somebody and you want to get this kind of documentation, I can see this coming in kind of handy. So we'll see what our aerospace people have to say about it. But Chris, thank you so much for coming on today. Yeah. Looking forward to potentially working a little bit more.
Thanks a lot, Jeff. Really appreciate your time. Thank you. Good to be here.
All right, take care.